Oops, forgot to pop in the stage for a second. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Campfire Chats with Eric and guest. I should be having Corey Cole coming on here a little later on. He's going to be sharing some of his stuff with us tonight. So to start out, I want to remind everybody that the byways of Bigfoot with on the documentary that I'm with on Linda Eastburn's deal. I just lost my little spot. Give me a second here. I got to figure out where it went. My fingers jerked around. If you go to that YouTube page down the bottom, you'll be able to find the link to Byways of Bigfoot documentary that I was in on her channel. Go check it out. Tomorrow I'll be doing the show on the midnight marchers. That is a group of royal guards, Hawaiian royal guards that guard the kings of Hawaii, their graves. Uh, and it said that if you look upon them, they'll kill you. So that'll be tomorrow's show. Next week, unless something changes, most likely I will be doing a show about all my Bigfoot stuff that I've found out here now that I can release that. I told Linda I wanted to give it a couple weeks for the Byways Bigfoot to be out before I did a show, because everybody's been wanting to see my stuff that I've found through my time in my woods. So that will probably be next week unless something comes up and I change my mind. So we'll plan on that. Outside of that, also I have been working my tail off, and so is DA, and on our paranormal investigation of the Shade Beaver Bar in Everton, Missouri. We are finishing everything up now. We got a couple more shoots we got to do, and then hey, Cynthia, and then released will be released the paranormal investigation of the Shade Beaver Bar in Everton, Missouri. I don't think you guys are going to be disappointed one bit. We have caught a lot of evidence. A lot of evidence. Also, after this show tonight, join me over at DAX Machina. I'll be I had that ordeal that happened last week that I thought was supposed to be this week, end up being last week. I wasn't able to make it on DA's show, so therefore I am going on tonight. After this show, I'll be going on to DAX Machina, and we're going to be talking about our investigation over at the Shade Beaver Bar in Everton, Missouri. After that, I'll be going on. Right after that, I'll be going on with William Nighthawk, and we'll be doing our show tonight with him. So shortly after this show, if you go to YouTube and look up DX Machina with DA Roberts, you'll be able to watch us there. And then after that, if you go to YouTube and look up William Nighthawk at William Nighthawk 6630, um, you'll all be on there. So come join us on all those tonight. It's going to be a pack filled night for you. That's right, Roxanne. I know you'll be there. So I hope you guys enjoy what we got going on. So as we are waiting on Corey, has anybody had anything they've experienced this week? He's doing a little bit better. He's still got some issues. He messaged me, asked me if I was up for doing a show tonight, and I was like, "Yeah, man. I've got this show, then I've got to be on with DA. After this, I said I can do it after that. So after DA's show, I'll be on with him. So I mean, he should be doing a little bit better. It sounds like he is. As long as everything holds up, that'll be what the plan is tonight. And then we'll see how tomorrow going. So as of right now, tomorrow morning, our regular paranormal Sunday morning show will be going on. We'll be on with William then as well. And then tomorrow night will be my show dealing with the night marchers. I just got a message here. I want to make sure they. Oh no, it's Facebook, so it's not going to be Corey. Um, yeah, I have been extremely busy I finished up, finally went through all my evidence. I finally just finished that up a little bit ago. I was up till 1 o'clock this morning gathering all the audio evidence we had. I've got it all shrunk down. It's going to be not a problem, Corey, buddy. That sounds good. I'm going to tell you guys now the way it's looking. The video that DA and I put out about that investigation is going to be over 2 hours long. And that's just going off of just the audio stuff we caught alone. But I finished up the audio last night, got it all compiled, broke down into the 3 groups that the audio is in, and I finished up the video earlier, and I have it out. I just made a commercial dealing with this. Let me see if I can actually give me a second. Let me see if I can upload this on there, and I'll show you the commercial that I literally just made before I came on. And I'll be releasing that on my Facebook channel and all my daggone social media stuff. So as this is uploading, I'll play that here in a minute. But yeah, it's going to be a long video that we produce. I can tell you just as a hint, because I don't want to give too much away. And of course, we're going to be talking about it here in a couple hours anyways. There's more than paranormal there. So that's all I'm going to tell you. You'll have to catch us tonight on DA's show, and you're going to have to catch the video to see everything else, because I'm not going, even on DA's show, I'm not going to let loose of everything that we found. And I can tell you, I don't think you're going to be disappointed. I really don't think you will. But yeah, I've just been trying to finalize. I've been literally working on this. See, I went to sleep at 1:30 this morning, 2 o'clock, got back up at 7, made some coffee, was waiting to go on Williams' show before it got canceled. So from that whole time up until literally just a minute, 30 seconds before the show started, I was working on stuff. So I've been working on it a lot. It's just about ready. So here in a second, you guys get the first sneak peek of the commercial I'm working on. I may still fine tune it. I don't know yet. Actually, this is a great test to see what you guys think. Well, it looked like it was about ready. Maybe we still got a few more minutes. Oh, there we go. Here we guys go. A sneak peek at the commercial. Did you like that song?
Ring around the rosy, a pocket full of posies. Ashes, ashes, we all fall down.
Hey, Corey, how's it doing, buddy?
Hold
Can
on
you
here,
hear me?
Eric. I can't hear you.
Okay. While we're waiting on here, I can hear you if you. So we're doing good there.
No
While we're waiting on
sound.
that, no sound. Can y'all hear me out there?
Let's see
Hey,
here.
Tracy. Can you guys hear me okay, or is it just Corey not able to hear me?
I've got everything turned up. I can barely hear you. Dude,
Huh.
Gary James is calling me right now.
Is this better? Can you hear me better now?
I got everything turned up.
Huh. Hi, Tracy. Um, yeah, I don't know, man. It looks like they can hear me, and I know we can hear you.
Man, I can barely hear you. I'm checking all my settings here. Maybe I need to turn off my Bluetooth, huh?
Oh yeah. Okay, he's muted now. You're muted, Corey. Why? Oh, it says your mic's not connected.
How's that?
There you go, buddy. Can you hear me now?
All right. Yeah, I can hear you.
All right. Hey, everybody. Corey wanted to come on today and share some of the stuff he's got. Buddy, how have you been?
Pretty good, man. Been breaking down a greenhouse today.
Oh, gosh, I feel sorry for you on that. So, before we get started on that, kind of let everybody know who you are and what it is, and then we'll get into the meat and taters of it.
Okay. Well, my name's Corey Cole. I know everybody pretty much in chat. I live down at the bottom of Oklahoma, about 7 miles north of the Red River that separates Oklahoma and Texas. That's about it, really. I mean, other than the crazy stuff that goes on.
Heck yeah, man. All right, that's good, Cynthia. I'm glad to hear that. So, you had something you wanted to share this weekend. Why don't you go ahead?
Hold on. I'm trying to bring up.
Okay.
Well, nothing's happened as of late, but I mean, where do I start? I guess we'll start with my first paranormal encounter. It happened at a cemetery about 10 or 11 miles from where I live. One night, me and some friends of mine were riding around. These girls asked me if you want to go to a haunted cemetery. I said, yeah, I don't believe in that stuff. You know, I'll go. So we go out there, and there was a lot of wildfires at the time at a place called Warwick Lake, right there east of us. And the air was real smoky and thick. You know, you could see the smoke in the air through the moonlight that night. Just a really strange night. And we go in on this place, and I told my buddy, I said, park at the gate so we don't get hemmed up in here. And everybody goes in before I do. I'm kind of looking at the headstones and stuff, and they're marked late 1800s. And I'm sitting there knelt down looking at them, and I see everybody and hear everybody take off running. So what do? You know, you jump in with them and run. I figured a bull or something had got in there and got after them. They're all jumping in the pickup, and I'm saying, man, what's going on? And man, we don't know what that was. And I said, well, what was it? We don't know. And I said, well, Dale, turn around. I'm gonna go back. I want to see what it is. And, you know, the girls are like, no. And I said, no, I'm going back. I want to see what it is. See who's messing with us. We go back in there. The girls don't want to go, but all the guys jumped out, and they didn't want to stay in the pickup by themselves. So they go in, and they just point to this double grave sitting to the back. And I said, what is it? And they said, go up to it.
Quit.
And when I walked up to it, all this static charge built up in the air, and the grass started waving like the wind was blowing. And I could hear rattling when I'd walk up to it. But when I'd back away from it, it'd start dying down. So the closer you got to it, I guess the more we'd irritated it or got on its nerves. But I got up close to it and I stuck my leg in there, and it felt like a snake wrapping around my leg and shocking me.
Ooh.
And just freaked me out. And I'm sitting there looking at my friends, and they're like, step in there closer. And I said, I ain't getting in there any closer. But I put my hand in it and circled around it and felt the parameter. And it was like a bubble of energy around that thing. So we take off. We get back in the pickup, and I'm behind the wheel this time. And I stopped in the middle of that dirt road, and I said, I got to go back. I got to see what this is. Somebody's messing with us, looking for a logical explanation to eliminate it. So we go back and start messing with it again. And the third time, I see something whipping on the ground. And what it was probably the first two people buried there because it was the oldest gravestones. And they had their own fence around their grave. The only one had a little, what's that old garden, that little garden fence? It's probably 1.5 feet tall.
It wasn't the typical wrought iron like they used to use. It was just like one of the little wire mesh ones.
This was like woven, humped over, and then woven back through. I don't think it was wrought iron. It was kind of a thick wire, but it had a little gate at the front of it. But every time I'd get close to it, I'd start looking. But like I said, that smoke's in the air that night. This was Halloween night too. And it was hard to see, but what I seen was a human spine.
Ooh.
Whipping. Like it was blowing in the wind, And that's what I figured the rattling was that I heard. Because I thought of an Indian bone rattle when I heard the sound. But it was that spine sticking out of the ground. It just come out of the ground. It was laying flat. I thought it was a snake at first. We got rattlesnakes and stuff around there. And, the power of this thing was unreal. I mean, it'd light you up. I was scared to death to get inside that perimeter.
That's a thing, though. I mean, when you're feeling something like that, a lot of that leans towards something supernatural. So, I mean, it's hard to say what she's dealing with. I mean, that is when you're dealing with that kind of power and you're feeling it, reverberate through you like that.
Yes,
that's a strong being. That's an old ancient being right there.
Well, a double grave. First two people buried there. So we go to the records department, the courthouse, and start looking for that. There's nothing. There's nothing on these people. The name was on the grave. I won't say it, but my friend's mom worked at the courthouse, and she couldn't find nothing on these. They had to have been, because the cemetery said established in 1906, I think, or 1907, which would have been right around statehood. And the graves were 1882, I think, or 1883. But I figure that's the first two people buried there because they had their own fence.
I would say you're right, because back then they didn't always keep records on that stuff. It was basically in some situations, especially like a homestead, there would have been no records of it kept. So if they had like a settlement there, a homestead there, or they were just traveling through and they died, that would be the situation in that.
Well, it's called Salem Cemetery.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the beginning. One of my friends that was with me, who's still a real close friend of mine to this day. I don't know if it was just us together that, caused this or whatever, but it tended to be like that up to this day. When me and him are together is when this crap happens. Everybody
you
else
probably
freaked
got
out.
you
Huh?
probably got an energy around you that attracts them.
Yeah.
I've noticed
Yeah.
that happens with me a lot. I get a lot of stuff that happen, and I've got a very high energy in me. Like I can't wear expensive watches. I'm lucky if
I
they
don't wear the
last
watch.
a month. Yeah, I mean, if I wear an expensive watch, I'm lucky if it lasts a month. The damn thing will break or burn out. I've got such a high energy field, and I've noticed throughout my time, it seems like when people have a high energy field about them, is they seem to attract a lot more stuff. So I mean,
Hmm.
that's my theory that could be the possibility. I could be wrong.
Well, from that day on is when all the weird stuff started happening with me and him. And like I said, to this day, and you know, just I didn't realize a lot of this stuff was happening till I looked back on it. And not too long after that, me and my cousin and one of the friends that was with me that night at the cemetery were out on an old homestead place of his great grandmother's before they sold it. And we were out there riding around because this is just like stepping back in time. You could see where they walked through the gates to go to school every day, had to walk a couple of miles. And it was just an awesome thing to experience. Well, we get off in the sticks. I'll tell you where we're at. We're out around Comanche, Oklahoma, kind of southeast of Comanche. And we take a break we're on four-wheelers. We take a break. And as soon as we kill the four-wheelers, it sounds like a big, heavy piece of machinery idled up. Just, and I thought, logical explanation, that's what it was. So I went looking for it. It's trying to warn us off, and I go looking for it because I'm thinking it's a piece of heavy equipment, like a excavator or something like that. But it's a Sasquatch growling at us.
Ooh.
I was sitting there thinking, looking back now, he's probably thinking, what is this idiot doing? I'm trying to scare them off, and they're coming to where I'm at. But man, I've just had tons of experiences since then. Let's see. We were down on my friend's granddad's land one day looking for arrowheads, doing arrowhead hunting. And I forgot to take some water and we still had some in the pickup. And I said, hey, I'm going to go back to the truck and get something to drink, man. I'm thirsty. He said, I'll be back here in a minute. So I walked back to the truck and I'm sitting in the cab of the truck drinking a bottle of water. And I look forward and there's a thicket in front of us. And there was two tree branches crossing and it made a triangle. And I got to looking in that triangle and I see something looking at me through a hole in that thicket, like a port, like it'd been watered out. And I'm sitting here looking at this thing and thinking, that's a face. And my first thought was, that's a cow. And I thought, no, it ain't. Why would a cow be watching me through a hole in the thicket? Well, it scooted to the side, just sidestepped out of the vision of the hole. And there was another one behind it watching me.
Wow.
And someone said, well, that could have been a fox or whatever. And I said, foxes don't do that. What it was, it heard my friend walking to the pickup, and that's why it moved out of the way. It was going to check him out.
Mm-hmm.
And he made it to the pickup about probably a minute after I seen that first one sidestep. And I was taking pictures of it. I had pictures, but I've lost them. He comes back to the pickup and he said, what are we doing? And I said, you see where those two branches cross? He said, yeah. I said, hop out and go check that out. So he gets out and walks up there and I'm watching him and he starts kind of squatting and looking. And he always carries a pistol on him. And he got up there real close and it growled at him and he pulled his pistol on it and walked backwards all the way back to the truck with his pistol drawn and pointed. He got back to the truck and I said, what'd you see? He goes, nothing. I said, uh-huh. Yeah. I bet. But let's see. We had one experience one night. He walked out to the pickup to get something, and something hit my front door to my house, and I opened my front door, and he's still digging through his truck. And I hollered at him. I said, "Did you throw something at my door?" He said, "What?" And about that time, he walked back in the shop. We looked at it on the wall of the barn, and there's these dim lights floating around, just kind of like a flashlight that was going. The batteries were running down on and dimming. And he goes, "What in the hell is that?" And I said, "I don't know." And he said, "Grab your phone." And that's those pictures I sent you, ED, of that gold yellow thing we captured.
Yeah.
That night
That one at the
at the gate.
yeah,
There's three.
I'm uploading some pictures now. I've got
Okay.
the amulet, gremlin, thunderbird,
Oh, yeah.
manifest,
Yeah.
the manifesting Bigfoot. Is that the one?
No, it'd be the one where you can see his truck and you can see the gold light kind of orb. There's three pictures. There's one where it's down on the ground next to the pickup.
Okay, I'll have to let me get them transferred to my phone.
Just pop up whatever you can. I'll tell you about it.
Okay. We'll start out with. I'll let you talk about the gremlin. I got to transfer. I didn't transfer those ones to my computer because I didn't have permission to. So I'm going to have to transfer them from my phone to my deal. So give me a minute while I email, and I'll let you talk about this. So we'll start out now. I did do a show on a lot of Corey's Encounters. It's on my YouTube channel called Corey's Encounters. So now you get to hear the firsthand experience from the man, the myth, the legend himself, Corey Cole. So Corey Cole, here you go, buddy.
Okay. I want to tell you right now, the markings on the ears, I would have lost this picture if it wasn't for a friend that I shared it with who was able to go back 2 years on her iPhone and retrieve it. We wouldn't have it if it wasn't. But when I shared it with her, she said, "Well, where's his ears?" And I said, "Tell you what, outline what you think his ears are." And that's why it's outlined like that. That's what she outlined. But that is a gremlin. This is my same buddy that all the crap happens to with me and him. It jumped out of a tree in front of him one night in front of his house in town while he was out there welding on something. He flipped his hood up, and he said it either flew or jumped out of a tree. He said it had either a dead rat or a dead squirrel in his hand eating it. This thing had arms, and the wings were on its back separate. And if you look in the picture, you can kind of see the nodes from the wings on its back, but you can't see the wings. You just kind of see where they connect to its back. There's two little humps. The slit pupil is his eye. You can see his nostrils. Now that thing that looks like a tooth, he said was skin, but it was like a mustache of skin coming down on both sides. And I've looked at depictions and pictures of them and just different, artist renditions, whatever. That's a common thing right there. They do have that skin coming off the corner of the lip like a Fu Manchu. But that's what you're looking at right there is the skin. It looks like a tooth. But now this thing emitted some kind of energy that distorted the camera on his phone. He tried to get video of it to start out with. He said this thing stayed there probably 5 minutes before it left. He went and tried to wake his son up, but his son sleeps real heavy. But he couldn't get a picture with the video on his iPhone. So he went in the house, tried to wake his son up. His son wouldn't wake up, and he'd come back out, and it was still sitting there, standing there. And he said he switched over to camera, and this picture had to be cleaned up. A bunch to get this. It was blurry. But he said the eyes were backlit, like you hear the Dogman's, the Corona color backlit. And, he come out after it happened, and I said, what's wrong with you? And he goes, "Man, you're going to think I'm crazy." And I said, "Not at this point. We've seen enough stuff." And he told me the story, and I said, "Tell me you got a picture." And he said, "I tried." And you could kind of make it out, but this is after his son cleaned it up on a laptop. But that means these things have the ability to distort electronic devices. No doubt in my mind. To do that, because his iPhone camera worked perfectly before that. When he had the encounter, it was giving him some trouble, and then after that, it worked just fine. But you can see it took the color out of it. You know, that's under his carport right there with the fluorescent light, and it took the color out of the iPhone, out of the camera, the color feature. It just went black and white. But he said this thing laughed at him, and I had talked to William Nighthawk about it. You know, he told me a little bit about what these things do and what they are, and they're kind of mischievous.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it laughed at him, you know. But it came back again, and we had it on video, but we lost that. But when he saged his house, something took a crap on the porch. I think that's what it was. He got a little upset.
Good.
He said it smelled musty, like an old cellar that holds water. You know, a lot of moisture. Mm-hmm. He said that's what it smelled like.
That is weird, dude. That is very weird. Give me a second here. I'm gonna actually, before I upload some more, I'll jump to another one while I'm uploading some. We'll start off with this. This one's going to have two different pictures. This is not the close-up version. So
okay, can you bring the other one up first? Keep going.
That one, that was the two that I have on here.
Okay, you don't have the black and white one with where it's standing on the other side of the fence?
Well, I thought I did, but apparently
I can send it to you again.
Well, let me check out in here for some reason.
That would be the best way for me to start out, because I can talk about it in the order of the way everything happened.
Why? What happened to it? What happened to it? What happened to it? Well, by golly, George, it is gone. That is.
Imagine that.
Hold on. Let me make sure I didn't do something else with it. Sometimes if they're not in the right format, which it should be in the format because I did a show on it. Wow. Yeah. It is actually gone from my... Oh, nope. I found it.
Okay. Man, I'm trying to bring up chat and it won't let me.
I don't know if you can or not. Reminds me of a Hopkins. Goblin. They were. Well, where he got. Hopefully he gets back in. Looks like he accidentally got booted out. Well, while we're waiting on him to come back in, I'm going to upload a couple more photos of his real quick. What do you guys think about that? That is, when I seen that, man, I was like, wow, that's pretty freaking cool. So, yeah, they are. Yeah, William. Give me a second here. Let me get some of these comments, and I'll go down the road. I'm sorry I haven't been posting the comments up. I've been kind of trying to get some stuff downloaded that he had for me. I'm going to text him real quick. Hey Melissa, how you doing? But yeah, I mean, goblins are mischievous. I didn't know they infected electrical fences. There he comes. He's coming back in. Give us a second, everybody. Once he gets loaded up, I'll bring him back in. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty wild. There he is. Hey, buddy.
Okay, I got two different Hold on here.
You're good. You're good.
Hold on. See, I'm lagging.
Are you? It happens. It's probably
How
low
about now?
connectivity. Yeah, I got
Can you hear
you.
me?
Mm-hmm.
Can you hear me? Okay.
Yep, I can hear you.
I tried to bring up chat where I could look at the chat, and it kicked me off. I ain't gonna mess
I'm
with
not
it
sure
again.
how that works. Yeah, I'm not sure how that works. Usually, I'm on a computer and I can look at chats. Most of the time, like when I'm on somebody else's show, I'm on the show on the computer, but I'm chatting through my phone. Like when I'm, because if I chat through, like when I'm on with William, it comes up as William chatting instead of me. So a lot of times
Yeah.
I go to my phone and I pull up the live and turn the music down, and then I chat that way.
Okay.
That's just how
This
I
is
do it.
this is only the second time I've ever done a live. So, and I had trouble when on Texas Front Porch doing it.
Yep. Okay, so I found that one you're talking about. So here we go.
Okay, here we go. This was taken down on the Red River. Gosh, I don't know how long ago it was. It's probably been 7, 8 years ago. A friend of mine lives right on the river. Her family established that location. Was one of the original. Her great granddad was one of the original explorers that came down and settled even before statehood. And this is their property. Someone else bought it since then, but she had a blackjack donkey, one of those mean son bitches. And this particular spot right here, the horses or the cattle wouldn't go over there. The donkey was the only one that would go graze at this spot. Everything else stayed away from it. And one day, the donkey had been attacked by something and had slices on its back, like something cut it with a knife, like a butcher knife. And they set up the trail cam, and this is what they caught. And this was the only picture activated on the trail cam. Now, if you look, you can see the fence posts. There's one to the right, one to its left. And you can kind of see where the wire's running across. It's on the other side of the fence. So your typical barbed wire fence is going to be about 5 feet tall. Okay, 4.5 to 5 feet. So that thing's 3 feet, its head's 3 feet over the top of that. So we're looking at 7 or 8 feet tall, whatever this is. But it's either materializing or causing itself to distort, or cloak. But if you look look in the middle, you can see its feet right at the bottom. And that's its arms coming down to the side, like in an A-frame type angle. And the top of it is its head, the bulbous head. And I didn't tell you about this, ED, but look to our right, it'll be its left. You see something kicking out like a wing?
Oh, it looks kind of like a feathery wing there.
Nah, yeah. Now that's either, the energy coming off of it, but you can really see it against that brush thicket on its left or right. But you can't really make it out as well on the other side because the grass is lighter color. But yeah, I've looked at this thing 1,000 times, man, and there's more than this in the picture, but that's hanging on their wall at their house, framed.
Yep.
And
then
told me
this is it. Go ahead.
Well, somebody told me it looks like somebody walking by. Like it looks looks like legs, like somebody walking from left to right.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, yeah, it kind of does, but there's no head on it. It's not and if it's a man, that's a 10-foot man.
Yeah, that's a big
boy. It's facing the camera. I think it posed for it, is what it did. Yeah. Yeah. But if you look into it detail. But look at the mesquite tree behind it, how it's flowering out, kind of in a flower bloom kind of shape.
Yeah.
Well, I told her I wanted to see that spot. I wanted to go there. She said, "All right, I'll drive you to it." About an eighth of a mile before we get there, I look up, and this place is different now. It's cleaned off. They had a dozer come in and clean a lot of the mesquites off of it and stuff. But when we got about an eighth mile from it, it was a real pretty blue day, blue sky. And I said, "That's it up there on the right, isn't it?" And she goes, "How'd you know that?" And I said, "I can see the energy vortex coming up against the blue in the sky." And it looked like a heat riser,
Mm-hmm.
And we stopped, and I noticed when I looked in the grass that you could see a spiral pattern in the grass on the ground coming out, and it comes out to a great big spot. Yeah, you can see it a little bit. Yeah, but boy, after they cleared the mesquites off and stuff, you could really see it now. But
yeah,
I think there's an energy there. If it makes the grass grow like that, that's some more evidence.
Yeah, which is kind of cool because you sent me a couple of filtered versions of this.
I can see William's comment. He put Glimmer Man.
Yeah, you sent me this one here. This is the filtered version.
That's the same. That's the same picture. It's just my friend put it on his. He just started playing with the adjustments on his iPhone and was able to eliminate some of that, I don't know, ectoplasm, whatever it is, whatever it's doing. So you can kind of see into it now, and you can see the head, you can see the ears on it, kind of the face. But that's where we saw the amulet around its neck. That's what the arrow's pointing at.
Mm-hmm.
And
this is
the zoomed in on it. Amulet. There it is.
Now, when you originally talked to me about this, you noticed one skull, and I said, if you get to looking, it looks like two skulls. Then you said, "Yeah, look at the keyhole." So we we talked at length on this on here, and I was telling you, it's a common ancient. Hello, David. It's a common ancient practice of things wearing skulls as a power deal or some kind of medicine, good, bad, in between, good, bad, and the ugly, either part of it. I mean, my ancestors drank from the skulls of their enemies. So I mean, it's a skull with a lot of significance to them.
Yes. I went crazy and started researching amulets, and just started looking at every picture of any type of amulet, Egyptian, whatever. This resembles the Egyptian closer than anything I've seen. But
your barbarians were well known for doing that as well, though. Yeah, a lot of times your barbarians do it. There's a lot of ancient tribes that did it as well. So I mean, the amulets with the skull is very widespread throughout history.
Well, and a different pair of eyes, that it's always a good thing. And if you get somebody else to look at it and study it, like the Thunderbirds you found that I didn't notice in the one picture, I was glad I showed you that and you pointed it out, because I felt like an idiot when I seen I missed that.
It happens to me all the time.
I got to studying it and I got to looking, and I said, "Man, that looks like an old skeleton key, like the bow where you hold it with your thumb and your index finger to turn it." And I thought, "Man, that looks like the bow to a key going in that thing." Well, I got to looking underneath it. It looks like the end of the key coming out right there in front of it. It kind of looks like a nose. Yeah. But I got to looking at it.
Of the key.
Yeah, the handle's at the top, going in the forehead, but it looks like right below it at the bottom, there's the end of that key coming out. But you can see, if you zoom in on the picture and stuff, it's got the rings at the corner, or at least that's where it's attached, and you can see a type of band or a chain or a rope around its neck that's holding it, that
I can't.
keeps it held on.
Yeah, I can't zoom in on this one here, so we're kind of
but you can see the corners, and you can see one of the rings where it attaches to the necklace, the choker.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I didn't notice the multiple skulls till you looked at it. I didn't see the skull on the side, but I do now. And like I said, the closest thing I can find to it's Egyptian.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I found that fascinating. I loved it. Yeah, we're going to hit some more up on this before we move on to some others. Where did they go?
Okay.
Where did they go? They're probably because you got there it is. So we'll start out with this one here. This is all. This is all a part of the same exact picture.
Okay, this is the same picture. It's just the very end of it to the left, and before the picture ends. And if you look at that pole, it's either transparent or something is in front of it, causing it to distort. Okay. There's probably 20 things going on in this picture. There's all kinds of faces in it. There's faces in the thicket on the other side of it. If you look at the very bottom of that pole, you can see a woman's face back there behind it. You can see half of her face. The other half's hidden, but it's almost like you can look through the pole and see a little bit of it. And then there's a face of something right next to it. I don't know. It kind of looks like a chief wearing a war bonnet.
Yeah. Here's a closer up version for you guys.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about right there. That's the face of what I thought looked like a chief wearing a ceremonial bonnet. Not a war bonnet.
So if you look here,
you can see his nose, you can see the brow.
Yep. If you look here, it's to our right. I think it'd be to your all folks' left. And then that way you can kind of look when we go close up. That's what we're talking about in this one here.
Mm-hmm.
You're absolutely right, William. I mean, even the that one pharaoh that was kicked out of Egypt, they believe that his tomb is in the Grand Canyon, and that is the area that these unmarked helicopters will not allow you to go into that area. They even chased Josh Gates off when he tried to go down and investigate it. So you're absolutely 100% right, William.
They say there's chambers in there that are big enough to hold thousands of people.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But what's that? No, go ahead.
Go ahead. Okay.
It just makes you wonder, how did those Egyptian artifacts and those symbols and stuff, how did they get all the way there? And makes you wonder about how the continents broke apart during the flood. The mud flood.
Well, you also got to think too. If you go back to the Anunnaki, you got Enki. Before Enki became evil, he traveled the world and taught everybody how to build pyramids. So, are we looking at a representation of that? The fact that we're finding all this Egyptian stuff here in the United States, which this pisses off a lot of mainstream because they want you to stick to the narrative. Columbus was here first. Well, no, the Native Americans were here first, and after that was Vikings, Chinese, Japanese. There were several. I mean, the Irish was here. There were several other types of people was here way before Christopher Columbus ever was.
Yes.
So
I agree.
Yeah, I mean, that's seeing something like that, and the fact that it's that way, I can't dispute it one bit because there's enough evidence to support that, and there's ancient text and stories talking about this stuff happening.
Mm-hmm.
So,
they say the Grand Canyon. We've always been told it was a river that carved that thing. But if you go back far enough, there's a story about a giant that drug an axe I can't remember the name of it, the giant, but they say that's how it was, how it formed. He was dragging his axe on the ground, and that very well could have happened.
It could have. I don't remember that one, but yeah, I mean, you absolutely could be right.
Man, I hear so much stuff; it's hard to remember. I listen to so much. I listen to everything I can.
Oh yeah,
and then decide for myself.
Yep.
But,
which is on the subject of history, this is really cool because this leads up to another picture that I love that we broke down, and when we broke it down together, we found more stuff.
mm-hmm.
And a lot of people don't know the history about the Mayans or Aztec. I'm sorry, Aztec. Now, Aztec is, they say that their ancient city, their home city, was called Azteca, and there's a lot of proof. A lot of proof. Oh, Paul Bunyan. Yeah,
Tracy.
Paul Bunyan.
Could have been.
There we go. Thank you, Tracy. But Azteca is in the northwestern part of the United States. You could follow the Corn Belt, which leads all the way to the south. So whenever they were attacked by the Spanish, they went back to their homeland, Azteca. Now, this, what we're very experienced here, which I am a subscriber to the theory that the Aztec and the Mayans were the exact same people, just different time frames. If you look at a lot of Aztec, you look at a lot of Mayan stuff, they're very, very similar.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a common practice in the ancient days when one empire fell, another one built theirs on top of the bones of the other. So that's why I think there's a lot of similarities, or it could be just one dynasty versus another dynasty too. I mean, it's hard to say. Leads up to this one here, and let me pop up the first picture, and then we'll get down dirty up close, and I'll show you what I found. And all this stuff is, like I said, is on that video that I made called Corey's Encounters on my YouTube channel. So if you guys want to watch the full video, it is on there, and explains a lot of it as well. But you got this bad boy.
This is at my house. One night I've been cleaning up. Like I said, I've been tearing down the greenhouse, and we had a bunch of old wooden pallets laying around. And, you keep them laying around, you're gonna get rattlesnakes, stuff like that, unless you got bobcats like I do. Well, I put them in a pile, and I was burning them at night. I was sitting in my pickup, and no matter what, I always sit and watch till the fire burns out. Even if it's a little wet outside or whatever, still, that'd be my luck. The sucker'd spread where I didn't want it to, So I'm sitting there watching it. And my girlfriend messaged me, "What are you doing?" And I took that picture of that fire, just, was going to go burning some pallets. And I sent it to her, and I never even looked at it for, hell, I don't know how long, maybe is days later. And I thought, what is that? And I was like, oh, that's that picture I took of that fire I was burning. And I got to looking at it, and I seen a face sticking through the flames. And I got to looking a little closer, and I seen a war bonnet. And you can see feathers coming down right here on the backside, or hair, however you look at it. But there it is.
And here's a closer up version of what we're talking about. Sorry, I'm downloading some stuff from William real quick. So I'm I don't mean to.
You got a closer picture? Okay.
Yeah. I got some pictures. Here's that one, the closer up version of what we was talking about.
Yeah. That gives you an idea.
Yeah.
But I looked at
buddy?
I looked at the Comanche war bonnet, and it's very similar to that. But then again, the one you showed me of the Aztec bonnet, still very similar. But the Comanche war bonnets weren't your ceremonial bonnets with the white eagle feathers going back. It kind of came up off of the forehead, and it wasn't as pretty, but that's not what it was for. It was for war.
Yep. We'll show that one picture here in a minute. I'll let you talk about this one here for a little bit, and then I'll show them the one that I pulled up that is very similar to that right there.
But people say, well, that's pareidoia. Well, think about this. That thing's looking through those flames. It's poking its face through there because you can't see through that face. You can see the nose, you can see the eyes, you can see the mouth, you can see the chin. And then look at the feathers, you know? Lots of detail.
Yep.
And that's a solid face. It was showing itself is what it was doing.
And the headdress that we was talking about, folks, is this one right here.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see a lot of the similarity into that one right there. And that was the Aztec headdress when I was looking it up. And I was like, and I'll jump back and forth here real quick. Let me get scrolled up where I can do that. Maybe, possibly. You see that? And then you look back at this one here. You can see the horse hairs. You can see the hairs through the fire. You can see the top part of the headdress. And that's why I was like, man, this looks very close to that right there.
Mm-hmm.
You can see the feathers, the horse hair, the top part. And that's what I found very interesting. You know, Corey and I spoke at length on the phone going over this stuff here. I mean, it's all extremely cool. I mean, real quick, we'll get back into everything. This is what William was sending to talk about the Egyptian stuff. So you see this picture right here. You know, this is, I can't remember. This was Grand Canyon, if I remember correctly, William. If I'm wrong, let me know. And then he also sent this one here. So there's a lot of stuff here in the U.S. suggesting the same thing that was over in Egypt, but is also found here in the United States. And that's what we was talking about a little bit ago. You know, and that I'm a firm believer that Inky had a big hand in a lot of that. I mean, I could.
Are those facing the same directions as the ones in Egypt?
I think so, but don't quote me on that one. I would have to.
Don't they face east?
I believe they do. Don't quote me on it, but I believe
too.
Judging by the sun, it'd have to be on this picture here. If you look at that top part on that picture there, judging by the shine from the sun, I would almost have to say with either facing east or west. Because you can see the glare of the sun off the clouds, and it's real bright on one side where it's not on the others. And the sun always rises in the east and sets in the west, so that would tell me either, hey, yeah, it's facing east or west. So I'd say most likely it's probably east. But I can't guarantee you that because I don't know much about that one real off the top of my head.
Yeah, that's too similar to be a coincidence.
Yeah. They're in this world, in the bizarre and the unknown world, baby. It's quickie dink don't exist. It's just the happening. You know. Let's see here. What was so? You know, on the subject of Native Americans, this is another one of my favorite ones that you sent me. Let me get down to the first picture. Where'd it go? Give me 1 second, folks. Okay, I just downloaded. I thought I downloaded more than that one. Oh, there it is. So this is that one that he sent me, the first one. We'll do some others on top of that here in a minute. Okay, thank you, William. I appreciate that. I was thinking so, but I didn't want to speak unless I knew for sure. They do.
That's what I just thought, you know, that's what I thought I remembered. Mm-hmm. Okay. This was taken. My cousin took this. This is a storm, whatever you want to call it, over the top of the Comanche, Oklahoma. And my cousin loves to take pictures of lightning. And he's captured some of the craziest stuff in the clouds of anybody I've ever seen. He just has a knack for it. Very, very good timing with it. And if you look close and zoom in, you can see something peeping from the back side of it. You can see its head, you can see its shoulders, you can see its torso, you can see its arms. It's like it's close. Yeah, it's kind of are keeping this way. But I had always heard about the thunder beings. Also, you could see the tail of something right there below it going into the cloud.
Yep.
And you could see the head of that thing that's got the tail coming out on the other side. It looks like it's got horns. But ED noticed something I missed. The Thunderbird.
This, yeah,
on the other side.
Cool.
There it is.
Right there.
You can see its wings,
closer.
its tail.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it kind of does look like a mushroom cloud, doesn't it? I saw someone in chat said looks like a nuclear cloud. Yeah, but it also looks like a tree.
It does. Which I found this one cool because when I was looking it up close and we was talking, I was like, "Holy cow! Did you see this?" And I zoomed it up, snapped a picture, and sent it. And I'm like, "Right there, Thunderbird." You get.
I was like, I can't believe I missed that.
I missed it too until I zoomed in close and just happened to catch it. And the history behind Thunderbird, Native Americans talk about Thunderbirds a lot in history. Now, if you actually listen to the depiction of a Thunderbird and you actually I have a picture and I'll upload that too while I'm talking. If you actually listen to stories, even recent stories in our, recent 100 years, they talk about these, man, I don't know if I still got it. They talk about these stories of the Thunderbird looking like a pterodactyl.
Mm-hmm.
So I find this picture kind of cool here because you can see the tail, you can see the wings, you can see the beak, all in that picture right there. Now I couldn't get much closer on that because it grained it out too much. But that Thunderbird picture there was like really cool.
And it. What we got?
Hey, Griff. Oh, that's great, buddy. That is great. But I mean, either way, it's a fascinating picture.
I love it when everybody's got a sense of humor like mine in the chat.
That's what makes everything great. I love this stuff. That's why I do. These shows make my day. Tired or not, these shows make my day because of stuff like this, man. I just love the crap out
of it. People are not arguing with each other, and
that's why I do this show here. The Campfire Chats is a safe place for us just to kick back, have a good time, and talk about our experiences, man. That's why I love it. Why am I not finding that? Is going to really aggravate the holy living tar out of me. I've got stuff that is missing off my computer, and it's really. There it is. Found it. Okay. Let me see. I'll get back to the comments, you guys, in just a moment. Give me a second here. I want to make sure I upload this here because I want to kind of show you a rough look of what we're talking about and why the Thunderbird is being described as a pterodactyl. So I want you guys to, while this is uploading, kind of focused on that. If you look at that bright spot there in the clouds, and for me, it's the lower right, so I think it's probably going to be lower left for you guys. You see how that's shaped? And this is a recent Texas within the last 100 years, a photo of what they call a Thunderbird.
Yes, I've seen this one.
Yeah.
Be kind of tough to fake that back then, huh?
Oh, dude. I mean, you can still Photoshop. I mean, don't get me wrong. AI can do a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But if I remember correctly, this one actually came from a newspaper. I could be wrong. I don't remember the full story on it. But if I remember right, that actually came from a newspaper in Texas.
Supposedly they shot
out. Yeah, because it got called out. If I remember correctly, they got called out because they were having too many instances of this thing flying around homes, taking livestock, and I think people even.
Oh, there's stories of it like attacking young kids up to the 70s.
Yeah.
And there's still
Yeah.
sightings to this day of these things.
There is the last one I seen. Now this has been a couple years ago. I think was 2013. Actually came from Texas too. Was a report of a lady traveling down the road. That's what I thought, William. This lady was traveling down the road in Texas, and a pterodactyl attacked her car. I believe that was 2013. So, I mean, this is kind of a rough look, and that's why we talk about it. So, when you look at that, and you go back to this one, where did it go? Right cheer. You can kind of see a lot of the similarities in that photo. Yeah, Tracy. Yeah. Yeah, I was thinking. I remember DA had sent that to me, and also William had sent that to me because we was talking about that on the show one time. So I mean, that picture was. I mean, it's just phenomenal. It's phenomenal, and it was so awesome to be able to catch that.
Oh, and there's something I forgot to tell you. I need to tell you before I forget it. The gremlin.
Yeah.
Okay. I was showing it to a few people at my house one night. Okay. And I had a friend there who he's kind of an asshole, but he was sitting there making fun of me, going, "Oh, that's a doll or something." Well, when everyone left, it's just me and him. He goes, "I've seen one of those before." And I said, "Where was that earlier?" He said, "I didn't want everybody to think I was crazy like you." And I said, "Where'd you see it?" He said, "Plowing at night." And I plowed at night too. And the thing is, when you're plowing at night and you got the lights going on the tractor and you're plowing, you're digging up and you're scurrying all the mice and rats and stuff out from under the ground, and they're running, back and forth, and you see these owls come down and swoop at them and hunt. He said that sometimes it's one of these things. They mix in with the owls. He said it's hard to tell them apart.
Mm-hmm.
But I got to thinking, I've probably seen them too then. Around here, plowing at night's like, something everybody likes to do. Make it look like they work. Make it look like they work harder than they really are.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, a lot of people hay at nighttime as well because of the heat of the summer. It's better just to hay at night than it is to during the day and bake yourself alive.
Yeah.
So earlier you started talking about, before I started downloading these pictures, I believe this is the first one you sent me.
Okay. Now this isn't my photo, but I can't even remember where this is a still shot from a security cam, I think at either a farm, like a big farming operation or a construction yard. This thing looked like a wolf, and these were really hard to capture off of the video to get the still pics from, but I worked on it and I kept on until I got the pics right. This thing is jumping from the ground. It's probably, I'm gonna say 8 to 10 feet in the air right there. But look at its head. It's changing form as it's going through the air. And when this thing on the video, when this thing jumps, when people talk about how fast the dogmen move and their movements almost cartoonish, that's how this thing was. And this thing jumped. I'll bet it had to. I mean, I know it's probably 8 to 10 feet in the air right there. If you could scale back and look at the whole picture, but the second shot of it, you see the face and the head and what it's changing to, and it almost looks human. It doesn't right there, but the next pic, I got in close, and it looks like a human face coming out of the front of it. There it is. Can you zoom in on that any?
No, I can't on this program. I can't zoom in on pictures.
Okay. But you can see the face poking out in the front now. Look at that tractor behind it. What are those tractors height? One little John Deere like that. What's that? Probably 8 feet, and it's probably 60, 70 feet back behind it away. You know, in the background.
If that's a cab on a tractor, depending on what
it's
size
back
tractor
away from it. It's not jumping over the tractor. It's just looks like it, but that tractor is probably 60, 70 feet back there behind it, you know, away from it in the background.
Roxanne's got a question for you, Corey.
Yeah.
Right there. Do you have the full video of it?
Okay, it's not my video, and I have got so much stuff through the years that I can't remember where I caught this video from. I tried to find the thumbnail heading for it in the pictures, and I didn't get that in there. But I'll tell you what, I'll start looking for it again. If I find it, I'll send it to Eric, and we can share it with y'all eventually.
That's right.
But
and here
the still shots I took. Yeah. But it wasn't just, it was a whole compilation of videos. I do remember that. It's just basically the only one that sparked my interest that I thought looked authentic. You know, there was a bunch of them on there that you could tell was, you know, BS. There it is. That's where I adjusted the tone and everything, where you could kind of see the head and stuff sticking out in the front. But you can see its front legs cocked back to its side like it's leaping forward, and that's why I did the stick out, or the stick figure, and kind of show you what it's doing. But if you look, that's a human face coming out of the front.
Mm-hmm.
And this thing,
yeah, I mean,
this thing disappears in the sky. That's how fast and hard and high it went up. I mean, after this pick right here, you don't see it anymore. It disappears out of the shot. I'll try to find the video. But like I said, it's not mine. So, you know, but it's been so long, I doubt anybody'd care.
No, I find it fascinating. I don't care how old it is. I find that fascinating myself. So the last group of pictures we got, this is the one I shared last week, or no, it was the week before, because last week we had to cancel. I'm not going to go into real detail. If you want to, I'll let you. It's your deal. This is just a mud fossil. That's all I'm going to say about it.
Okay, we can go through this. I took that picture. My friend that was at the cemetery with me is with me when we had the encounter at the thicket with the hole and everything. He has a knack. If you go arrowhead hunting with him, it's best just to follow him around and carry what he finds. I mean, when he goes looking for this stuff, I ain't kidding y'all, it finds him. That's how good he is. I mean, or just lucky, I guess. But he found 2 of what he thought was carved to look like fingers on the Red River in the banks. 2. And when he brought it to me, I got to looking at it, and I thought, that ain't carved. That looks, you can see the cuticle. That looks just like our fingernails when someone either breaks their fingernail back or chews their nails real bad.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I just kept looking at it, and I thought, man, like our index finger is rounded on one side because there's no finger up against it. But if you look to the other side of it, where it hits your ring finger, or your, what I call flip-off finger, there's a flat side to it. This is the same way. This is a finger from a hand that I believe was a giant. He found 2 of them.
Mm-hmm. And
the second one sounds a little bit. What's that?
Go ahead.
He found 2 of them. You
I was
found
going to
two
let
of them.
everybody know. Now, sent this over to Roger with Mud Fossil University. And I said, hey, I
Thank
got a
you.
friend that sent me this. And I said, I believe, and he believes that this is a mud fossil of a giant finger. And he said 100%. He agreed 100% that is a mud fossil of a giant's finger.
And if you look at some of the other pictures I sent, like the one you popped up just a second ago, that's the bottom side of the finger. Look, you can see scars, like it where it was cut at one time.
It's got dermal ridges too.
Yes, but there's no really noticeable fingerprint I've noticed. But maybe giants didn't have a fingerprint like ours. But
Yeah.
on my phone, there's a feature called the lens feature. And what it does is you can scan it and it will find similar pictures. Like if you do art or whatever, and you want to see if anyone does anything similar to yours, or maybe what they're wanting for it, kind of give you an idea of what you'd want for yours. It brings up any picture similar to what you scan with the lens feature.
Mm-hmm.
I scanned this close up of this, what I believe was a finger. It's a rock now. Like I've showed it to some people, they said, well, that's a rock. And I said, well, yeah, it's a rock now. But every similar picture of that brought up leather, hide.
Yep. And that's the
Every one
thing.
of them.
People don't realize, I theorize, blah, 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 if I can speak. I had a theory for years that, there's much more out there that we're told about. Now, I always called them fossils. I never in my mind had crossed to mud fossils, and how, the concept I had was very similar. When Ozzie Sue turned me on to Roger with Mud Fossil University, I got excited because I was like, dude, that's what I've been telling people for years. Now he can explain it a whole lot better than I do. But you know what?
Shout out to Ozzie Sue. Shout out to Ozzie Sue.
And I talked about this in a couple of my Stone Giant shows that, there was a war between the gods and the giants on this earth. And then the god was displeased with the giants and ended up causing a flood. The flood is what killed the giants off. When their bodies settled to the ground, they were covered in minerals and soot and soil and all this other stuff, which preserved their bodies and turned them into what's called a mud fossil. So therefore, when you're getting stuff like this, yes, it's going to look like a rock. Yes, it's going to have some mineralization to it. That's because of what happened. But because of the flood and the fact that they were covered, you find so many things. And I could pop a picture up while we're talking about this. Let me get in here and look.
Before you do that,
yeah,
look, can you see the teeth marks? The 4 teeth marks in that? It's about a little up, probably past halfway from the middle point.
Oh,
you can see 4 indentions.
Yep, I can see that right there. Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. I didn't even see that. So thanks for pointing that out. I didn't even notice that.
Yeah.
And that's why I tell people all the time, like, this is why you find stuff like this throughout history. Is I'm downloading the pictures now. So when you look at this, I mean, you're exactly right. You can see the fingernail right there. You can see where it's either been broken off or chewed off. The skin's growed up. I've got fingers that's that way.
Yes, our fingers do the same thing.
Mm-hmm. So when you're going around and you're seeing stuff like that or like this out in the world, or you're, get a sky view and you find something like this right here, folks, that's giants that was killed during the flood. Now, every single civilization throughout ancient history, even the oh my God, it's brain fart. It's Sumerians, stuff like that. I mean, all of them back then talked about the flood. Every single ancient civilization in history talks about the flood.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to find stuff like this right here, folks. So, I mean, I can't tell you what to believe. That is not my spot, my place in life. My place in life is to hand out information. It's up to you to go do your research and come up with your own theory, your own hypothesis. I can tell you what mine is. That stuff is real. I mean, that's our history that we have kept dummified. When you get mainstream education, mainstream, or you get all these freaking government, lettered places that are trying to hide stuff from you to dumb you to what actually is. You know, take a
It's a
recent deal.
curriculum. It's a curriculum and a narrative that they've
Mm-hmm.
established, because if we prove any different, they don't get paid. They can't go and speak and get paid anymore, and
And
they don't get to
that's
teach
why
at the universities.
and that's why I feel bad about Roger. Roger has so much evidence. I mean, he has DNA testing. He has so much stuff to prove that his
Yes.
theory is not a theory, that it is fact. But because it doesn't fit their narrative, they will not put it out there. And I've reached
Mm-hmm.
out to Roger. I would love to get Roger on my show. I'm hoping one day I will. I mean, he's had a lot of stuff going on right now, so he said he can't right now, but there's looking like there's a chance I can get him on my show one day. And
Oh, I would
I can
love
tell you now,
that.
oh, dude, it'd be a blessing. It would be. That
He
man has
he.
a wealth of information,
Oh, a fountain of knowledge.
dude.
You know,
But
and he
and it
shows you.
excites me. Yeah,
He shows it to you, and then
he,
he'll say, "Look, this is the story. This is where Typhon was cut by Zeus," and he'll show you
yep,
where Typhon has been cut and where all the venom or whatever spilled out onto that
yep,
fish that was Aphrodite.
yep.
You know,
Yeah. And just to kind of give you an idea, folks, if you think that you can't have the ability to do it, I am dumber and than a box of rocks when it comes to technology. And even and I'm going to upload these pictures here as we're talking. Um, Even and I showed this on that episode when I had Jesus Pay on with me.
I love that
So,
guy.
dude, he is. I can't wait to get him back on. I really can't wait to get him back on. I haven't been pushing him hard because of what he's going through. I reached out to him the other day. It's like, look, I said, you're more. Whenever you feel up to it, let me know. I'd love to have you back on. I understand it takes time for what's going on. Flood stories of Lakota I will share tonight. Then everyone will make the connection to the giant trees. Exactly. And that's the funny thing when you talk about giant trees. Even my background, Norse, we have Yggdrasil. Yggdrasil is the tree of life, connects all the 9 realms. The tree of life is throughout many, many, many ancient civilizations. I mean, that is not uncommon to hear something about a tree of life.
I've
Um,
always thought the Devil's Tower looked like a chopped tree.
oh yeah, oh yeah. And what's funny is Roger actually talks about that. That's actually a leg. That's actually a leg, and he goes in details and shows you everything about that. That's actually a giant's leg, one of the cloud eaters. So, if you guys think it's impossible for you to find this stuff, this is what I found just me tinkering around on Google Earth. And I'm going to show you the unmarked version, which has not got the grids and stuff like that. This is just straight up. This is Kukulkan right there. And for those of you who have not watched the show, I'll give you a second to comment. Where do you think I found this out, folks? Where do you think his remains? But you can see the head, the whiskers, the poison coming out of his mouth, the neck, the wings, the body, the feet. You can see all that in this picture right here. So I'm going to give you a few seconds. I'm going to see who comments or where they think that I found the remains of Kukulkan at. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Hey, thank you for coming in, William. Much love, brother. I'll see you tonight after
Hey, I'll see
DA's
you,
show.
William.
Boys, go on. You're making noise. Go. Get. Go on. Go on. Go on. You guys are being a pain in the butt. Sorry, guys. I know that was rattling through the there. So that is actually found here in the United States. He goes from Louisiana through Mississippi, through Arkansas, through Tennessee, through Alabama, through Georgia, Missouri, Kentucky, North Carolina, South Carolina, Virginia, West Virginia, Washington, and all the way up, folks. That is him here in the United States.
You know, and for those that follow the Bible and believe what the Bible says, there's a, I don't know which one it is, but Jesus talks about the ones who will come to know the earth will know it as a carcass.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
it's in there.
Yeah, the truth's there. You know, and this is, you know, I've never hid this. I've talked about this many times. I am not a religious man by any stretch of the means. I don't believe in religion. I'm not a fan of religion, but I am spiritual, because religion has always been corrupted and used to gain a foothold in whatever they seek to find. That's why I'm not religious, but I am spiritual. And even in this will this will, I'm sorry to do this, but this is going to upset some Christians out there, and I apologize, but you know, facts are facts, and you can get in the book and look at it yourself. Even in the good book, we'll go modern version, King James. Most people know that. Hey, Robert, how's it going, buddy? um, you know, even in the Bible, it talks about dinosaurs. Even in the Bible, it talks about giants. So you can't tell me they don't exist when it even when it's talked about in there. Don't believe me, look it up. I won't tell you the scriptures. I want you to do the research yourself. Just take what I told you and do your own research. They talk about dinosaurs in the Bible, and they talk about giants in the Bible. It's just facts are facts, folks. You know, I don't read a whole lot of the King James. I've read a lot. You know, the Torah, the Quran, the King James. I've studied a lot of different religions. Buddhism is not a religion. That upset me. I got in trouble in college a lot because they want to claim Buddhism as a religion. Buddhism is not a religion. Buddhism is a way of life. You know, I've studied that stuff, and I could tell you, folks, you know, I've studied all different kinds of religions throughout history. All of them, except for one, the core value of that religion is the exact same. It just got perverted through time. The only one that is not is Wiccan. Religion is is of a man, and his controlled faith is. You're exactly right, Griff. You're exactly right. That's why I'm not a religious person at all. You know, if you read the Torah versus the King James, in the Torah it tell you that God created the humans in the image of the gods. That tells you, i.e., plural one. Even God says there is more than one God. I am the God above all gods. God had children, and they were a lesser God. Well, I'm trying to think of the term I want. They were a lower class God than him.
Demigod.
Well, not demigod. It actually says they are the lower class gods. He is the supreme God. Then there's the lower class God, and it was all his children. Now, the speculation to that is his children were the fallen ones that Enoch talked about in the book of Enoch. You know, the fallen ones, the ones that mated with humans and created the Nephilim. Okay. But even he talks about that stuff. So, I mean, even God in the good book even talks about there was other gods. You know, he says in the good book, he says, if a king does not worship me, I will not talk to you, for I am the only God. You know, I am the God above all gods. So if a king of a civilization doesn't recognize God as the God, God will not talk to them. And that's straight from God's mouth. You can look it up yourself. Primrose Meadow by Lead. or I'm sorry, I messed that up, Robert. I apologize. Primrose Meadow by Lead. You know, so I mean that's something for you guys to think about on here. It's an amazing world. Oh man, somebody's vibrating. You know, so I know I'm not going to carry this on too much longer because I'm going to have to eat before I go on DAs. So we're going to get ready to start wrapping this up.
Yeah, I need to get some chow too.
Yeah. I appreciate you coming on. Man, it was phenomenal. This is why I do this
Anytime.
campfire chats with Eric and Jeff on Saturdays, so we can get together and talk about this stuff and have a little fun doing this. And I appreciate every single one of you, all my new followers out there. Thank you so much. You guys are freaking awesome. I can't ask for a better group of people to come in and watch my old hillbilly fluffy butt talk. Anytime you guys want to come on here and talk about your experiences, you shoot me a message, let me know, and I'll set it up. But Corey, man, thank you so much for coming on here. I love
had a
your
ball
encounters.
tonight.
Dude, it was a trip. I've loved it. It's
You got to come to
this
Southern
is
Oklahoma
amazing.
sometime.
I want to go down there for the the one powwow that I have not been able to go to, that I absolutely
10
want
miles.
to go to.
That's
Brother
10 miles from
powwow.
my house.
Oh, I want to go.
10 miles.
I used to dance in powwows when I was younger.
Oh,
thank
really?
you, Roxanne. Yes, I used to dance. I used to have my regalia. I lost everything in a fire. When my trailer burnt to the ground, I lost all my regalia, all my stuff. I lost it in the fire. But I was being trained to be a dancer at powwows. And then it just, hell, I turned 16 and, women, money, and trucks got on my mind. And, well, kind of fell out of it. Now my old fluffy butt can't dance to save my life because I wound up in a wheelchair crying like a little baby if I try to do it now. That is the problem with man, with his religion. He can make a god of anything, including, yeah, you're absolutely right, Griff, buddy. You're absolutely right. So you guys are awesome. By all means, I hope I can see you guys with DAX Machina. I'm going to start pulling stuff up here for a little bit. Once again, go see me in the cast of Byways of Bigfoot on Linda Eastbird's YouTube channel, right there at the bottom of the page. I had fun with doing that. I've got a lot of great reviews from that. It was fun. Now that I could do that, like I said, next week I'll probably, God bless you too, Robert. God bless you too, buddy. I'll be, I'll probably, I'll be doing the show next week, and I have a crap ton of evidence. I don't know if I can get it all in one show or not. We'll see how it goes. If you guys get a chance, follow Jesus Payon Jr. at Breaking Discoveries and Breaking Bigfoot on YouTube. The man is phenomenal.
If you watch Breaking Bad, that's Tuco's bodyguard.
Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul, and he's been in 50 other movies. The man is awesome.
He's hilarious.
So much evidence. He is, man, I love the crap out of him. I can't wait to be able to go to New Mexico and do an investigation with him. Here up next, what I'll be getting ready to is get a chance to go to YouTube to DAX Machina. And I'll be on there tonight as we talk about our paranormal investigation of the Shade Beaver in Everton, Missouri. And if you guys missed the commercial I'm working on, I showed it earlier. Go back and watch from the beginning. You'll see the commercial that I'm working on when it comes to that. Right after DAX Machina, I will be on again with William Nighthawk. So go to YouTube channel there, look at William Nighthawk, and find my little fluffy butt there talking to the man, the myth, the legend, and the great one, William Nighthawk. If you guys have any counters you want me to share on my channel, email them to here to cryptidmythological@gmail.com. I would love to hear you guys' stuff. Yeah, that's me. That's me, Griff. Giddy, goo. All right. That is my road name, Giggity. That's what's funny. And if you guys would please hit that like, share, subscribe button. Let's get this building up. And I appreciate every single one of you guys that follow me, that comments on my show, comes to my show, sends me stuff. You guys are the greatest in the world, and I can never appreciate you guys any more than what I do now. You guys are freaking awesome. If you get a chance, you can go to my author's Facebook page right here. Now, my author's Facebook page, I share stuff when I come up with a book cover or coming out with a new book or I'm releasing a new book, is on this page right here. This is my author's Facebook page. if you can find my books Amazon and on audiobooks. It's under E.D. Testerman. If you go to Amazon, you look up E.D. Testerman, you'll find me in there. You have a way that you can follow me on there. And anytime I release a new book, it will notify you and let you know. Eric, if you only knew what I was thinking when you give me. All right. Y'all are great. I love you. I'm cutting this one short tonight, guys. I apologize, but I've got to get some food in my belly before I go on with DA, and I'm excited about that because I get to hang with the big dogs, the superstars, the men, the myth, the legends, the baddest people on the planet. DAX Machina, and I can't wait. I'm excited for that. So until then,
I'll see you guys in chat.
I will see you guys there. Thank you, Griff. Yeah, I love writing. I've not had it. Oh, thank you, Griff, so much for saying that. I just remembered. I had done some soft versions of some short, scary stories that I posted on YouTube. I have taken some time and let's just say it's not so soft. I'm debating if I want to release them on YouTube or not. I did a soft version just in case there's kids watching it. But I'm thinking right now I've got your soft version and I've got your uncut version. And I have recently updated them 3 stories into the uncut version. If you guys want, let me know. Shoot me messages. If you want me to do videos on the uncut version, I will do it. So that's up to you guys. You guys can hit me up and let me know. So until I see you on DAX Machina, Corey, once again, buddy, I appreciate you. Thank you so much for coming on. You have some amazing stuff, and I can't wait to see what more you have to share later on.
Boomer sooner.
Guys, yeah. Peace, love, and blessings to everybody, and we'll see you next time.